Yo, guys, what's up? Wow, two videos within 2 days. It's pretty sick. Anyway, this video is kind of a dovetail to what I was talking about yesterday with regards to integrity. But I wanted to add a couple of things, I guess, to be a little bit more specific since, we're all human beings and I'm sure we've all faced the same things at some point in time in our life. But this is kind of like the way I see things, and maybe it's just old school. I have no idea, I guess. But like, I believe that if you put an apple seed in the ground, I mean, you get an orange tree. No, an apple tree. And, if you were to put an orange seed in the ground, you would get a banana tree. No, you get an orange tree. And I think you get the point. And I believe that that is exactly the same way when you converse with people, when you speak with people, when you communicate with people, when you talk to people. You see, I'm one of those who falls with the understanding that you reap what you sow. I do believe I've made a trillion videos about what I believe in the law of reciprocity. You reap what you sow, you get what you give. And while that might be true, while that might be true in the grand scheme of things, the thing is that it's usually conditional, or it's predicated on the person that you're giving to, right? Because yes, if I plant a seed in the ground, I'm physically taking this seed, this physical seed, and I'm physically putting it in the ground, and I'm physically going to nurture it, water it, and all that other good stuff. And then the sun and the rain and, God's providence will take care of the rest. And I'll be there to make sure that I reap what I sow. But when it comes to human beings, that's where things get tricky. You see, I like to speak to people the way I would like to be spoken to. And this is going to be true in any scenario of my life, whether it's at work, whether it's with family, whether it's with friends, whether it's at the local department store. No matter what, I like to speak to people with a certain decorum, a certain cadence to it, and especially in the workplace, a certain professionalism. And I speak to people that way because it's definitely something I would love people to reciprocate and speak to me in that way. So I don't want to wait for somebody to do something and then I'll do it. I say I do it first, and let's see if we can use this law of reciprocity to reap what you sow. So all that to say, the seed working when you physically putting it in, and then the soil and God doing his job to make sure that it actually becomes fruitful. Those are things that are kind of written in law that actually adheres to the law itself. But when you're dealing with individuals, when you're dealing with human beings, I like to call them human contaminants, that's not always the case, unfortunately. So here's the remedy. If you speak to people with love, with kindness, with respect, with honor, with dignity, and I can go on and on and on, and even for just once, they speak to you in another way that is not conducive to reciprocity, I mean, my first reaction would be I would love to put my elbow right through their face and fracture it into tiny shattered glass pieces where it becomes sand. That's my first thought, of course. But the more human approach to it, without becoming animalistic and letting my passions take over of what I really want to do, is to cut them. You see, they might say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to speak that way. I was having such a bad day. I didn't know this, and I should have and would have and could have. And I'll forgive them. I will forgive them. But I believe that that reaction is truly who they are. Why? Because if I speak to you in a certain way, what did I say? I definitely hope that it will be reciprocated and you speak to me in that same manner. But the moment that it goes off course, that's truly who they are. You know, Jesus said it's not what goes into the mouth that defiles a person, because that goes out of him. It's what comes out of his mouth that defiles him, because what comes out of your mouth comes from your heart. And so when people speak to you in a certain manner that you do not speak to them, that's who they are. And so the warning is, when people speak to you, are they speaking to you the way you speak to them? And in that case, you deserve exactly that reciprocal conversation. But if people are speaking to you different than the way you speak to them, I would say cut them off, because they're showing you who they really are. So take this advice from an older man, someone who might be a little bit wiser. And even if you're older than me, I would still say take this advice, because it's 100% true. All right? Anybody has any other ideas about what the law of reciprocity means to you, or what you would do in a case where you're not being treated the way you treat people, I'd like to hear from it. All right, guys. So love to speak to you. Peace.